How's it hanging, YouTube? Peter here from Triple G Comics. Welcome back. Today we're doing top 5 robots, and I'm joined by my good friends Efrain from Past Point One Comics and Ben, the attention-seeking geek. Gentlemen.
Greetings.
That is very impressive, Ben. Very impressive.
Thanks. I was born in the 80s, so it comes natural.
How are you doing, guys? Everybody all right?
Good.
Does not compute, but yes.
Oh, how long are you going to keep this one up then, Ben?
I've run out. I've run out already.
Run out of batteries.
Hey!
Lovely
We're
to
here
see
to
you
entertain
guys.
you.
Great to see you both. As usual, we're here to do another in our top 5 series. We've done a few of these now. Always good fun. And this month we're talking about robots, which is a really I'm saying robots. Some of the stuff I put on there is not necessarily robot. Cybernetic creatures, AI, that
I think we maybe pushed the theme a couple of times.
We'll push it a little, won't we? So let's get the presentation up and we'll get straight into it. So as usual, we've each said we'll do 5 robots. I have to say,
I love that you've used the logo from the Robots animated film that
trademark,
horrendous Robin Williams film that nobody remembers.
Nice. Can't beat a bit of Robin Williams. So as usual, we said we'd do 5 each, and as usual, we've not managed to achieve that. So we've got 5, and then we've got another slide of honorable mentions, which we'll go over at the end. But basically, the theme for this, guys, was pick 5 robots, AIs, mechanical creatures that jump out to you. Not necessarily just comic book related, robots in general. Did you find it hard, or were there lots that jumped to mind straight away?
At the end, a lot jumped to me. Remember, I kept sending you guys messages. I changed my mind. There's so many. I wanted to put in the Doom bots from Dr. Doom, but I didn't, so obviously.
I found it hard because I've literally only, when you've just said it, learned that it didn't have to just be comic books. So I'm putting in all this work trying to be strict with the comic book theme.
I think, to be fair, Ben, me and Efrain had a chat and decided to just be stricter with you, just on the back of that Star Wars show you did.
Well, that's fair. Touche.
And mentioning that, please do go and check out on Ben's channel his top 5. No, not top. Was it top 5? It felt like much more.
You had 3 each.
3 top 3 background characters.
Felt like
on the attention.
Top 50. Yeah.
Right, guys. So first one's up. Oh dear.
Me. What do you mean, oh dear?
What?
What's your beef? I thought you'd like the Sentinels. At
least.
I
love the Sentinel. I love the Sentinel.
All right. So your beef's with Alpha. We'll get to that. Yes, of course. The Sentinel there standing proud, and we've all kind of been introduced to Efrain's amazing Marvel Legends HasLab Sentinel figure, which we're all incredibly jealous of. Now, if you didn't know, the Sentinels first appeared in X-Men issue 114, getting ahead of myself, just the 1 and the 4, just the 2 numbers. Issue 14, which of course was by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, the King. So the story is that this Boulevard Trask kind of came up with basically these robots that detect mutants and vanquish mutants as well. Just a good old good old-fashioned comic book racism for you. But yeah, I mean, obviously, as a kind of concept, I think they're more of a concept than a character as such, because it's kind of part of the background, of Marvel Comics. It's obviously led to kind of individual characters from the same master mold being one.
Like what you did there, well done. That was good.
Thanks, guys. Nimrod, and then of course you got the kind of Omega Prime Sentinel or whatever in the recent books as well. My favourite Sentinel was the Sentinel called Rover. Do you remember Rover?
Was the one of the Guthak kids sat on his shoulder? Is that one?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it's from the new X-Men, the Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
As you know, Peter, I'm very fond of that series.
Yeah.
And it's a flash forward, so it's like an alternative future in the X-Men, and Rover is like a Sentinel that's kind of gained sentience, I guess, and serves as one of the team. And then you've got Beak's son, who's like this badass eagle man. I'm here for it. So yes, the Sentinels were my first choice.
Tremendous.
What do you think of the? Can't disagree with that.
No, I love this. What do you think of the Sentinels, Efrain?
I like this pick, and I think my favorite Sentinel storyline was Days of Future Past.
Yeah,
nice.
That first arc, that classic 2-issue series. I just like the way the Sentinels were just basically they had won.
Did you like the design of the Sentinels in the Days of Future Past movie?
I remember how they even looked like back then.
They're like a clear plastic, weren't they?
Very cool in the flashback of like the 70s, but the weird kind of like Terminator style.
Oh yeah, the morphin kind of things, didn't they?
Yeah, I liked the concept that they adapted, but I just wish they still looked like that sort of thing. I don't know.
My favorite Sentinel scene, and Ben, you're the X-Men uber fan, so correct us if I'm wrong. I think it's Astonishing X-Men. Is that by Josh Whedon?
Yes. Yeah.
There's a scene where I think something breaches the X-Mansion grounds, and they're like outside, and I think either Lockheed or Cyclops or something lights up the garden, and there's like a half a Sentinel crawling towards the mansion, and you just see the image of its face in the darkness. Loved that.
Yes.
I thought that was really spooky and creepy.
All the imagery from that run was incredible. I love the whole danger room thing. I mean, it could have put danger.
We'll get to that.
Spoilers. Okay, right. So,
I mean, we'll go from Sentinels to.
You put them on the same screen, not me. Okay, so it's Alpha 5, guys. Come on. Of course, for me, I was introduced to Alpha 5 as part of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers TV show, where he is the trusty assistant to Zordon. But of course, over time, he debuted it. I think Marvel Comics did some like Power Ranger comics back in '95,
right?
If I'm not mistaken. I don't know whether that's his first comic appearance, but it's certainly towards that. But now, of course, Boom Studios look after the Power Rangers franchise, and we kind of got to know the mythology a little bit. So he was like built apparently by this King Lexion from the planet Edenoi, thousands of years ago, apparently. So there you go. And that's Alpha 5. I haven't really got much else on him. I just, when you're a kid, like the kind of goofy assistant to the kind of all powerful, it was always a character that intrigued me a lot more, just because I guess I related to the goofy assistant role when I watched things.
I can't remember. Was he in the latest movie? I mean, it's not a great movie, but.
Yeah, he's actually, oh gosh, the actor's name. That's going to annoy me now.
I can't remember seeing him in it.
So he's like computer generated in it. I didn't like the design a lot, but I didn't like the design of a couple of things in that film. But I actually like the film a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I really do like that film.
I have to say, from a geek point of view, And I'm not a massive Power Rangers guy, but from a geek point of view, at the end when they kind of finally suit up and you get the theme kind of plays a little bit, that was a proper geek moment, I think.
Yeah, and like Goldar and like what more do you want? Bill Hader, the Saturday Night Live legend, voiced Alpha 5 in the film, and it's great.
Are you a Power Rangers guy, Efrain?
Not at all.
Too old, isn't it?
I think we should do a background characters in Power Rangers and get Efrain on there.
I'll be like this.
Yeah, interesting picks, Ben. Interesting picks.
As always.
Efrain, 2 classics, really.
So, two classics. I'll do the one on the right first, since it's Ultron. Basically, he's came out in the Avengers number 54, I believe, first appearance. And why Hank Pym built him, I'll never know. It's like basically killed Hank Pym, but he's been a thorn in the side of the Avengers forever and ever. Actually, they based the second Avengers movie on Ultron, voiced by, I believe, James Spader, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, superb.
That was superb. Yeah, I see. He was at he was at
hang on, here we go. This is going to be a typical Efrain story, isn't it?
I was at San Diego Comic Con.
I had lunch with James Spader, and Stan was there, and
they introduced the whole cast of the second Avengers movie, and he was there also. And actually, when I was leaving, he drove right past me in a car. I seen him in a car, so I was like, wow, But
do you think? Sorry to interrupt, Efrain. Do you think, having watched the recent Doctor Strange trailer, do you think we're going to get a version of Ultron in that? I mean, we had two robots kind of escorting
That's a good
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, maybe maybe we'll make a cameo. There's gonna be. I'm sure there's gonna be tons of cameo.
I'd love it if James Spader came back.
Vision's kind of character,
I'd just like to get James Spader back. I was so disappointed he didn't voice the What If cartoon.
Oh
yeah. They got a lot of people back. I'm sure we can let them off for 1 or 2 stars.
So going back to him, he was created by Roy Thomas and artist John Buscema, and he's been a thorn in the side of the Avengers ever since. And of course, I had to put in the Vision, in there. He first appeared in the Avengers in 57 cover date of 1968. He was supposed to be an evil guy, but I just guess his humanity, he had his own, way of thinking. He became one of the, greatest Avengers ever, so.
Tremendous.
These are great choices. I mean, I'm a massive Hank Pym fan.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean I agree with him or relate to him, but I just love the idea of this really kind of flawed individual who is trying desperately to kind of lead a heroic path that just keeps effing up, and I just have always kind of loved that. And the storyline where Ultron merges with Hank Pym, I just found that whole thing genius. But I just love the idea that he kind of created this robot and it just kind of turns against him, and then the robot creates a robot, and that robot creates another robot, and Jocasta. She was molded well.
Tremendous picks, Efrain. And again, I love both of those characters. You mentioned Hank there. Again, going back into my memory from reading comics, I seem to remember a storyline where he was kind of given the title Scientist Supreme.
Yeah.
Did anyone read that? Yeah. That was tremendous. And he had like a wasp costume, I think, because I think at that point in time, Janet was dead or something. But I just loved the idea that he had all of these weapons and labs and things, and a key ring and stuff. You used to chuck them up and expand them. Yeah, what do you think of his portrayal in the Marvel universe? Well, it's Scott Lang, isn't it? It's not Hank.
Scott Lang, but going back to Hank Pym, I've always talked about him. I just think they did him an injustice. I mean, he was only a founding member of the Avengers, and they just basically tossed him aside.
Yeah,
I think the problem is their starting point was a very different point to the starting point that there was in comics, and they clearly kind of opted to tell a different Ant-Man story rather than the Hank Pym Ant-Man story. But I think they've done well. I think they've done well to kind of backtrack and show us those kind of flashbacks, and now you can do that with the technology and things. I think the one thing I want to see is I do want to see more of a flawed Hank Pym. I want to see him do something kind of ethically, morally very ambiguous, so I don't know. I'd quite like to see him lose it maybe in the next film.
I
or
can't
something.
Remember. It's a while
I
since
know
I've
we got it
seen.
in What If, which was a great.
Yeah, but I can't
payoff.
remember what. But there was certainly a couple of scenes, I think, in Ant-Man 2 where he kind of was losing his cool and things at times. Michael Douglas.
Yeah, there's moments, and I think they did well casting Michael Douglas, because I think he is that kind of he does do that switch quite well, and he's not that likable, I don't think, Michael Douglas. So I think they did well. I always fantasize though, Michael C. Hall, who plays Dexter. I always wanted him as Hank Pym, like a young Hank Pym.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever read The Ultimates?
Yes. Oh.
When Hank Pym sprayed the wasps with bug spray, and then when Captain kicked his ass, I love when Captain America kicked his ass. I was like, oh my god!
That first, I mean, it went downhill rapidly. I think personally, the Ultimates after the second series, I think.
Volume 2 was alright.
Yeah, I think Volume 1 was just absolutely tremendous. There's so many good scenes in that.
I mean, half of the stuff we watch on screen now is inspired by the Ultimates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okie dokie, my picks. You knew I'd have to have Prime in there. I mean, absolutely love a bit of Optimus. One of my favourite characters growing up in cartoon and comic book form. Collected them in the old kind of UK format comic books. First appearance in American comic was Transformers #1 in 1984. But for me, it was the cartoon that I fell in love with. Obviously voiced by Peter Cullen, who was just a tremendous voice actor. Did you know he did the voice of Predator as well? Yeah, there's a really,
I did not know that.
Yeah, there's a really cool interview with him on YouTube where he's talking about driving to the audition, and he comes up with that clicking kind of the typical.
I was going to say, it's not even a voice. It's just no.
It's that weird. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, tremendous guy. I just love the character of Prime. I think, and again, it's interesting because I would imagine if I went back and rewatched some of the old cartoons, with the exception of the animated Transformers movie, which is just a masterpiece, I would probably be disappointed. I think I've built it into my mind something more than it is.
It's a bit of a slog.
Yeah,
going back and watching them.
Exactly. But for me, Prime kind of represents everything I want in like a leadership role, his integrity, his moral fiber, all that kind of stuff, which is why I absolutely despise the Michael Bay Transformer movies, because they've got the character of Prime just so wrong in my mind. But yeah, and also he just looks cool. Do you not think he just looks awesome?
Oh.
So that's Prime's my first pick. Second pick is someone that Ben mentioned before, which is Danger. Are you familiar with this character, Efrain?
Oh yeah. I read the X-Men on a regular basis when she became sentient, basically.
That's right. Yeah. So it was the Danger Room from the Josh Whedon run, I think. So, and again, Ben, correct us if I'm wrong, but I think the Danger Room was from, is it Shy? How do you pronounce that?
Shah.
From Shah Technology.
Yeah.
And then basically becomes sentient. And then there's a tremendous couple of issues where they're on, is it Genosha? The mutant. Genosha, mutant island, where she basically starts kind of kicking everybody's heads in and everything. Just a brilliant character. Now, I haven't read regular X-Men for a while, so I don't know, is she still part of it, or is she gone and disappeared?
I don't believe I've seen her in any recent comic X-Men books.
Don't think she's on Krakoa because she's not a mutant technically. So I think they had to kind of write her out of where they're at the moment. But I remember seeing her before that as part of, I can't remember, I think it was a team with like Dr. Nemesis and stuff, X Club or something. But yeah, she's awesome. I love the idea. They did it in Doctor Who as well, where the TARDIS kind of at one point kind of turns into a person. I've always loved the idea of a machine kind of just gaining its own body and becoming a thing, you know.
Her initial storyline really was, I mean, part of that Whedon run. It was very creepy at times, because doesn't she start off by basically convincing someone to kill themselves in the danger room? Doesn't the lad jump off a cliff or something?
She like manipulates people, and she's pretty horrendous at the start, and then obviously they kind of anti-hero her a bit, and eventually she kind of goes down a heroic path. But
so they're my two picks. Next, Ben.
Okay, so we've got TickTock there. So my introduction to TickTock, of course, was the Return to Oz movie. Absolutely incredible, voiced by Sean Barrett. TickTock is an OG Frank Baum creation. So I'm in those books. So he kind of first appeared in literature. Look how highbrow I'm getting, by the way, talking about literature on a comic book channel. Ozma of Oz in 1907. Wow. And I was researching this to get dates and stuff. I was like, that can't be right. 1907. 1907. That's mental. Potentially one of the first robots. As well, in terms of literature. I think there were only a couple of examples before in the late kind of 1800s, but they didn't start commonly using the term robot until the 1920s. So it's pretty cool stuff. He's of course like a very loyal soldier character, and he kind of does this thing where he'll wind down. You know, and you have to wind him back up, and he always winds down in the worst situations. My daughter, of course, is named Dorothy after Dorothy Gale. So, nice. You know, these stories mean quite a lot to me. And the artwork we see there, of course, is from Scotty Young, and his recent kind of Marvel take on the Ozma of Oz story.
So when you sent this picture through, I have to say I was grinning from ear to ear, because one of my earliest childhood memories is going to visit my auntie and uncle in a place called Blackpool. It's a bit like one of your big fancy beach places, Efrain. It's really high class. It's lovely. Wow. But Return to Oz was on in the cinema, and it was back when if you bought a ticket, you could go and see it as many times as you want. So I think I stayed in the cinema, watched it 3 times or something. It was just absolutely tremendous, and I loved that character. Loved it.
Yeah.
Is the chicken a sidekick?
Not in the film.
I feel like there's a couple of chick.
Oh, I can't remember. It's a long time since I've seen it.
It's like a psychic chicken, I'm pretty sure. I swear she's got a chicken that she talks to in that film. Because there's Jack, obviously, with the pumpkin head. So
he's a bit creepy. In terms of, as a kid going to see it,
the whole bloody film is terror, like it's so scary. It's but anyway, so Efrain, I was inspired by your pick of Vision, and I thought let's throw his daughter in the mix. Nice. I know that we're all fathers of girls, and you know what's worse than a teenage girl, a teenage robot with powers. So this is, of course, Vivian Vision, who first appeared in the amazing, I'd go out of my way and call it a masterpiece, Tom King's The Vision series, which, of course, kind of went on to inspire a lot of elements of the WandaVision series. She, of course, kind of moved on from that to become a member of the Champions with like Cyclops and Nova and Miss Marvel and stuff. So yeah, that's I mean, she's a very cool character. I know they've kind of done this Civil War rip-off in the Champions with the Cradle, Cradle, and they basically ban child superheroes from using their powers and then kind of hunt them down if they do. It's literally Civil War, or Devil's Reign that they're doing at the moment as well. Same storyline repackaged, but yeah, she's a very, very cool character.
So I remember reading that Vision series you talked about and being absolutely blown away with just how, sounds silly to say, but comic-y, how grown up the storyline was. It's quite a hard hitting series.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, love the character. Do you think we're going to see her in the
No.
Yeah.
No. I think that, I mean, we've not even seen what they're going to do with White Vision yet. You know, he's kind of flown off into the sunset, but that's still open. So I think there's a long time to go until, if we ever did. And I guess they've kind of used up that lovely suburban storyline of Vision trying to create his own life, but they kind of replaced Vision with Wonder. Like it worked. Like, you know, my love for that series, but I don't think she's coming.
You familiar with the character, Efrain?
Oh yeah, I think I would love. Speaking of the Visions, I would love to see that in Disney Plus. Him and his family and the dog. What was the dog name? Sparky. Or something?
Sparky.
Right. Yeah.
They obviously had Sparky again in WandaVision, didn't they? And I killed Sparky too.
Yeah.
Tremendous. Great picks.
Great.
Efrain, some good ones here as well.
So my first pick is Chopper. From Star Wars. I've been watching Star Wars Rebels, and he's been, he's one of the main characters in there, and I just really enjoy his characters. I think what I like about his character, well, he first met Hera when she was a kid, and they showed it on Star Wars The Bad Batch. Hera was a kid and Chopper came out, and that's cool. And I just like his character. I think what I like the most about his character is his humanity, and he likes to joke around. And you can, every now and then in Star Wars Rebels, when you hear him talk, you can almost understand exactly what he's saying by his mannerisms. You can hear a word.
Right.
I just really enjoy this robot or android.
Looks cool. Looks very cool. I'm not familiar with this one at all.
He's very cantankerous.
Yes.
Is how I would describe his personality.
Right.
And I know exactly what you mean, Efrain. Like, it's so funny. I feel like I do it with R2 as well. Like, you kind of got a voice in your head, a human voice in your head for them. Like, R2's just a little sassbot, and BB-8's kind of a bit cheeky, but I'd say Chopper's kind of the rough and ready version of the two of them, and he kind of proper gives people lip.
Yeah, and I just, like I said, these robots in Star Wars, you can feel their humanity, which what I enjoy. My second pick is actually from Lost in Space. The robot, actually, I'd chosen the original robot too, back from the 60s. He was known as Model B9, but just robot, and his big catchphrase was "Danger, Will Robinson."
Danger, Will Robinson. You said love that.
Peter's worked on that.
I don't know, well, because that was a again, showing what age you see. When I used to, as a kid, stay over at my grandparents' house on a weekend, that was your Sunday morning viewing. That and Land of the Giants, I think it was called.
Yeah.
And I loved the character that played Dr. Smith. He was just tremendous.
So to give you an idea of the age difference, guys, they remember the original series. For me, it's Matt LeBlanc.
So
it's a terrible film.
He was voiced by Richard Norton Tutfield, and I just like his humanity, his laughter, his sadness, his mockery. He would play a guitar every now and then, and he would laugh at Dr. Smith all the time. And I just, like, one of the first, when I was a kid, like in 1965, when Lost in Space first came out, I was really into it, especially the robot. The second one is from the Netflix series that's going on right now. It's three seasons long. Third season just started, basically, but this robot is more robotic. He just says "Danger, Will Robinson" most of the time. He doesn't have the vocabulary of the first robot, but you can also feel his humanity for Will Robinson and his family too.
He looks tremendous. I only watched the first few episodes of the new Lost in Space. My son's watched it, I think. But the robot didn't come with them in that series, did it, Efrain? Didn't they find it on the planet or something instead?
They found it on the planet, yeah.
Tremendous. Again, two superb picks. Right. My last two. So that first one is Iron Man, the Sentient Armor. Are either of you familiar with this storyline?
I know he had a sentient armor, but I don't remember the storyline.
So this was an
90s Marvel, man.
This was in Iron Man Volume 3, issues 26 to 30, and it's a tremendous storyline. So this is basically Tony's got a new suit of armor, and he gets there's some link to Joe Castor in Ultron, and he gets hit by lightning. and has a heart attack. And basically, when he wakes up, the armor's got sentience and it's starting to develop and learn for itself. And he first kind of realizes it's all going a bit wrong when he's in a battle with Whiplash, and the armor takes over and kills Whiplash in front of him. And then there's basically a series of issues where the armor's kind of become obsessive with him, and then they finally separate, and the armor takes him to kind of like a desert island, and there's this great kind of battle with Tony using wooden bones and arrows and bits of flint and stuff fighting his armor. It's just a really good story about sentience kind of gone wrong, and it ends beautifully with Tony basically having a heart attack or something, and the armor realizing he's dying, so it rips out his own heart and shoves it into Tony to save his life, kind of thing, and kills itself. Just a really interesting story. It was linked at the time. Again, Ben, you'll be far too young probably for this, but when the Millennium was happening, there was all this stuff about the Millennium bug and planes were going to drop from the sky and computers were going to switch off and stuff. It was kind of playing on that fear at the time because it was around about the same time it came out. Just a really good storyline. So that's my first pick. My second pick.
Wasn't Ben a baby in the Millennium Year? Like
probably.
Dare you? I was.
3.
I would have been 11.
And
I was freaking out about a Millennium bug. I was like, Mum, what are we going to do?
Were you stocking up on tinned food and things like that?
Just sitting in the corner jamming to like Robbie Williams, like Millennium.
Right. Oh, I've got a vision now, Ben. I've got a vision in my head. So my next pick, and I'm not a massive DC fan, although I do like Superman, because, like I say, I do like.
Where's Pa?
Oh, but I'm drawn to characters like Superman, like Captain America, like Optimus Prime, who've got moral fiber and things like that. And I just think that design of Cyborg Superman is absolutely stunning. I think it looks amazing. So this is the Cyborg Superman, Hank Henshaw. First appeared in Adventures of Superman 465 in a really interesting storyline, which was very similar to Fantastic Four, really. Hank was a spaceman, and I think they were hit by rays or something. And anyway, he comes back and he's transformed into the Cyborg Superman, whose first appearance is Adventures of Superman 500. And he's been on and off in the comics for ages, kind of fighting off against Superman. But he gets really interesting, I think, when he joined the Sinestro Corps and becomes a kind of a Green Lantern enemy. And he's been in that kind of series and mold for a long time. Keeps coming back every now and then. For me, I just love the look of him. And I wish I'd put it on, actually. I should have stuck it on the slides. Someone did a mock-up of, I've forgotten his name.
Henry Cavill.
What's the guy? Henry Cavill as the Cyborg Superman, and it's amazing. Cool. Looks absolutely amazing. So that's my 2 picks. Are you familiar with those characters?
Yeah, great picks. That Superman one is awesome. He's such a thorn in the side of Superman for years and years now. So great choices.
And like I say, he's become a bit of a Green Lantern villain as well, because I think, was he part of the destruction of Coast City at one point as well, when that all went tits up and sent Hal Jordan mad? I think he was involved in that.
That's me.
Anyway, last picks, guys. Ben, I've got no idea what that is.
Well, see, you'll recognize the name when I say it. That is Baymax.
Oh, right. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yes, indeed. So, of course, Baymax, we all know the big, lovable healthcare robot from the Big Hero 6 movie. Blah, blah, blah. Baymax. Guys, I love that film. Can I just say?
Tremendous.
But there is, it was, I say, inspired by comics. It's completely different. So basically, Marvel had Sunfire and Big Hero 6 in 1998, and they were like state-sanctioned, kind of sponsored superhero team, basically. And there's all these kind of links, and the story involves like people like Viper and Silver Samurai, of course, kind of X-Men characters. But there's Baymax, and he is still created by a 13-year-old hero. Hero Takechiho. Sorry. But in this, he was basically just created to be a bodyguard. And what's weird as well is that his brain patterns are the same as Hero's dead dad.
Oh, nice.
I know, it's all a bit grim. So yeah, absolutely nothing like the lovable Baymax from the film.
So in my head, I've got the image of Baymax as the big kind of blowy up thing. Yeah. Is he in that armor he's wearing, or is that literally a totally different kind of body setup?
It's I mean the kind of pillow robot design was completely Disney's thing. That's kind of how he looks from the off in the books.
I have to say, Big Hero 6, it's a tremendous movie. I was sure I would get a follow-on to that, but it feels like that was years ago now.
Well, there is a series that you can watch on Disney Plus, and I think it's actually gone for like 2 or 3 seasons. That,
right?
If I'm not mistaken, so you can kind of get your Big Hero 6 fix. I'm sort of ready for a sequel now.
Yeah. Efrain, a classic Avengers villain there you've picked.
Yeah, so he was originally known just as the Adaptoid. He first appeared in Tales of Suspense 82, and then Tales of Suspense 84. In 84, Tales of Suspense 84, he was known as the Super Adaptoid. He was created by Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and Gene Colan. And I like this character because he adapts to all the people he fights, their fighting styles. And he was created by AIM. And he's an android containing a shard of the Cosmic Cube artifact, which I didn't know about. And he was programmed to defeat Captain America. And I just like the way he's able to mimic superheroes, their powers.
Did you see the MODOK series?
Yeah.
No.
So he's in that, and he's just hilarious. He's like a camp butler. He just gets really salty about things, and he's hilarious.
Gotta check it out.
Yeah, I've seen that, and he's absolutely tremendous in it. I love the character. It's a really interesting costume design, like just pure green. It's interesting, but it's also interesting that around the same time, did we not have a very similar character from DC as well? Is that Amazo?
Probably. They always did that.
Yeah, seems
like
to. I don't know who came first.
Swamp Thing, came in the same year, and
I don't know who came out with the character first, but it's a very similar kind of character. I'm sure it's Amazo. But yeah, another great pick, Efrain.
Thank you.
My last pick. Do you know who that is?
Death's Head.
Yeah, Death's Head. Do you know him, Ben?
Is it a Judge Dredd thing?
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, a really, really good character. I think you would like him, actually, Ben. So, Death's Head first appeared in Marvel UK Transformers comic number 113.
Oh, wow.
He's basically a bounty hunter. He's got a tremendous speech pattern where he kind of says yes after everything. His hands, as you can see there, are interchangeable. So he attaches them. He's got axes and all kinds of stuff. But he's a real fun character. He was so popular, he kind of moved on to mainstream Marvel books. And he appeared in, there was a series called Dragon's Claws, I think. And he's been in Fantastic Four, a few issues of that. They've tried to
That's why I've not heard of him.
Fantastic. They've tried to relaunch him on a number of occasions and change his body and his kind of his outlook. But for me, this is always the classic Death's Head. I just think he's an amazing character. His early issues are absolutely superb. Well worth checking out.
I think he also fought against the X-Men too, if I remember right. He? I think so. I have some of these books, yeah.
Yeah. He's also, again, an amazing looking character. I think that costume design and everything just looks... What, you don't think that looks good?
Oh, that's hideous. It's so hideous. And his mouth looks like... He looks like... Do you know whose head looks like? Zurg?
Yeah. But of course, he came out a long time before Zurg, so I think Zurg's mouth looks like his. Yeah.
Touche.
I think that's a tremendous costume. I think it looks absolutely amazing. And I love the interchangeable hands and all the rest of it. So, cool. Right. So that was with top 5, but then we decided to just chuck in a few honorable mentions. So we'll start off. With Efrain's.
So This is I'm sure you guys have watched Futurama. This is Bender. His full name is Bender Bending Rodriguez. Designated in universe as Bending Unit 22. He's just a beer drinking, couldn't get the words out, robot. I just love his character in Futurama. And actually, Futurama is coming back, I believe, on Hulu.
Yeah.
The voice actor is voiced by John DiMaggio. He may not be voicing him because they're having a
he's not coming back, is he? What's going on with that? What's the issue? I've not looked into it, but I know he's not coming back.
Yeah, he's been on Twitter a lot, and he's just been saying, I think what voice actors are being paid is not enough. I can't speak for the other actors, but I just think we're not getting paid as much as we should. And he's holding out. So he goes, I don't think I'm going to be on the show, but there's always hope.
And he's trying for more money.
He's trying for more money. He just thinks he deserves more money for all the years of doing his character.
It's fair enough. Like he's the star of the show. Like I've met John as well in person at Comic-Con in Australia, and he was amazing. And he was like, "Oh, you're British?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm backpacking over here or whatever." And he was like, "Oh, let's do Bender doing a British accent," and then just started doing like a pirate voice. And he was like, "Because you sound like pirates." I was like, okay. But yeah, so that was a fun exchange. That's a great choice, that, Efrain.
It says he was built in Tijuana, Mexico. And I remember seeing him on a Simpsons episode. At the end of the episode, he powered down and he was just stayed in their garage. And I think he was just waiting to be powered up again when he went to his own timeline. But there was another episode on The Simpsons where Homer goes down in the garage and he just goes walking to his garage and you see Bender still sitting there, but he's covered in cobwebs.
Love it. I love that his beer's called Old Fart.
Yeah.
There.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
That's one for you two, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh. Excellent choice, Efrain. So Ben.
Well, excellent choice. You wait. It's the butter robot, guys. From Rick and Morty. I'm a massive Rick and Morty fan, as I'm sure people can tell from my sense of humor. I'm that kind of person, and it always hits the spot. And yeah, nothing did more than the butter robot gags. Just hilarious. He just comes up to Rick. And he's, "What is my purpose?" And Rick goes, "Pass the butter." Brilliant.
I've not seen. I'm sorry. I've seen Rick and Morty, obviously, but I haven't seen the latest episodes because didn't they do a live action segment with Lloyd thingy from Back to the Future?
It was just a promo.
Right.
Yeah, I was really excited, but it was just like a couple of promos. So they had Christopher Lloyd, and then they had the actor from It, one of the young lads from It. It was just, although I always wanted Michael Cera as Morty, but just funny. I was torn between the butter robot or when her dog becomes What did you do with my balls, Summer?
So my pick is the tremendous Inspector Gadget. Again, from my youth, when the original cartoon, which is just a masterpiece. Again, your bumbling kind of absolute useless inspector who's always getting it wrong, and he's saved by Penny and the dog and whatnot. But this for me just captured my imagination, all the different gadgets he's got and things. I love it. And I'm a big fan as well of the live action movies. I don't know if you've seen them.
With Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's two of them. And the one, I think it's the second one, where there's an evil Inspector Gadget played by Matthew Broderick again.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal. Absolutely brilliant.
Oh, Peter, you hit me straight in the nostalgia.
So Inspector Gadget, love him.
Was Inspector Gadget, was he an actual I've never seen it, but was he an actual robot or?
Do you know what? In the live action movie, I think he's an inspector who has some work done on him. I can't remember if it explains that in the cartoon or not. But he's not a robot. He's
like RoboCop.
Yeah, Okay. He's been
more robot than man.
Yeah. We can rebuild him.
Inspector Gadget.
Love it.
What a theme tune.
Right. All of them were back then, Ben. All of the cartoons were superb.
Very true.
Theme tunes.
Can't argue
Dog
with that.
Tanyan and the Three Musketeers. Do you know that one? All for
Go
one and one for all. Ah, tremendous. Anyway, moving on.
Oh, God.
I'll do the Ulysses in a minute. So that was our top 5 robots, gentlemen. Some excellent picks there. I just want to encourage people to go back and have a look at what other top 5 videos. We recently did Bring on the Bad Guys, where we looked at some villains, which is a great video to watch as well. And also just to mention that Tuesday, 22nd of February, it might have already gone by the time this is out, but we've got What If Live, where we're reinventing Batman. So please go and look for that video. Okie dokie, gentlemen. We're done. Good show. Some interesting picks there.
Great picks. There were so many we can choose from. I mean, like I said, I was changing my mind almost to the last second who I wanted to put in there. You know? I kicked one out. I put Bender in.
I know you were, Efrain. I did the slides a few weeks ago, and you kept messaging today, said, change this, change that. Like,
pain in the ass.
So, guys, again, like I say, another great show. Thank you very much for your effort and your time. We're going to keep doing this at least monthly. It would be really interesting for anybody watching if you stick in the comments below what kind of top 5s you'd like to see we do in the future. We've got lots of ideas of our own, but it'd be really interesting to see what any viewers want to do, and we'll look at them for the next time. So before we go, Efrain, what have you got happening on your channel?
I'm finally going to do my giveaway. So I'm going to do it this weekend, and whoever wins is going to get 4 CGC books.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I mean, that's massive. That's a huge giveaway.
Yeah, this online comic book store, Black Saber Comics, he just reached out to me and he says, hey, I like your channel and I want to, give you some books every now and then and give away. And he's giving me 4 CGC books. I'm like, dang, I wanted to keep them.
Very good.
Yeah.
And just to totally impress Ben here, Black Saber, is that a link to Star Wars, Efrain? Is that a Star Wars themed comic shop?
No.
See, I know me stuff, Ben. I know me stuff.
Hey, you're paying attention. It's somewhat.
What you got happening on your channel then, Ben?
Oh, well, I had these gentlemen on recently above me, 2 Star Wars experts, I thought, to discuss Star Wars background characters. So that was really fun. Very similar to this kind of top 5, top 3 sort of rundown of some Star Wars characters. Hope to come back in the future to do some future kind of Star Wars countdowns, which would be cool. But yeah, I'm quite busy on my channel. I've got a couple of unboxings, a kind of my dream wish list of 1/6 scale figures. I've got some reviews going on a very long Book of Boba Fett show, if anyone has 2.5 hours spare. But I've got a much shorter 10-minute Peacemaker season 1 review. Hopefully by the time this video is out, I'll have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre video review as well, which I'm probably going to watch after we record this. So yeah, lots going on. Oh, and Jason Voorhees 1/6 scale figure unboxing is on the way as well.
Nice. Excellent. So on my channel, I've got my usual unboxings, my usual toy reviews. I'm very tantalizingly close to 500 subs. So and there's a competition a giveaway for that. So Punchline book set. So check that out on my channel. Right, gents. Thank you very much. Been a pleasure as always. And with that, we'll say good night. See you later, guys.
Everyone.
Stay safe, everyone.